Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is our third workshop regarding our budget. And I hope all of council's been taking in the information and kind of analyzing it. And so we'll be ready for first reading next
Tuesday night. Yes, sir.
Let me remind council and all the members in the audience and everybody out in radio land. I said this before, but as we move forward with this, there's always three costs of leadership. We'll have to make decisions that will negatively impact people we care about. You will be disliked despite your best efforts and attempts to do the best for the most. And you will be misunderstood and not always have the chance to defend yourself. Kirby Smart, UGA head football coach. Coach's best comments.
We don't get paid as much as he does, though.
Do what?
We don't get paid as much as he does.
You're right. Mr. Merriman.
That kind of money ain't lined up.
Mr. Airwood, council, thank you. Did want to start off today by thanking council again for making yourselves available for these workshops. I do realize that they are in the middle of the workday, but it is important that we make sure, especially for some of our newer council members, and then of course for some council members that have been with us for a while, the reminders are always good about what the departments are doing and what they have done with the budgets that this council has approved in the past and what they intend to do moving forward. So with that, there's a couple things I did want to touch base with council on. First of all, I want to make an introduction. Sophia Santagata is our intern with us this summer. Sophia is a junior, a rising senior at Anderson University, and she actually comes to us with a partnership for the Municipal Association. Municipal Association has a program called Build the Bench. It is designed to provide a pipeline for both undergraduate and graduate students to kind of get a feel for local government and local government leadership as a viable career path. And so Sophia comes to us through the Municipal Association, but she's also had some previous experience working with the city manager in her home city in Florida. So she has done this before, but we are very excited to have her here this summer. And as you can see, that Michelle is not with us this afternoon. She has to take care of some family business. So I assume Sophia will be very prompt like Michelle in shooting information to y'all through the council meeting. So if you get an email from Sophia, it will probably be in response to a request for information from council. The second thing is, let's talk about, again, today's intent. It is just like we did with the revenue presentation, and then of course through public safety and public services, is to give a little bit of a snapshot of where, in today's case, Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, Planning and Development, and our internal services have been, what they have been doing with this year's budget, and then what we intend to do with the approved budget moving into next fiscal year and beyond. So today you'll hear from Ann and her team in Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, and then Katrina will be representing as the Assistant City Administrator over Internal Services, IT, Procurement, Risk Management, and HR, as well as Fleet in her departments, and then we'll wrap up with Alex and his team from Planning and Development to kind of give a snapshot of how Planning and Development has evolved over the years. And then finally, I do want to mention one thing. Also, it has been asked, and I think it's a valid question, specific to the Sports and Event Center, and how does that apply from a presentation standpoint, or how does it work with Ann's presentation? And the response to that is very simple. We are still, there are some budgeted items in this year's budget that are relative to the Sports and Event Center, but they're fairly minor from a cost perspective. We've also added some funds in Fund 10. So if you look at our lease purchase, there are items that are related to the Sports and Event Center that are in Fund 10, but they're not terribly expensive, but more to the point, we are still working through a number of revenue-related items in for the Sports and Event Center. So what we intend to do, staff intends to do, is come to council with an operational overview of how the Sports and Event Center will operate, especially once we get some lease agreements finalized, some sponsorship agreements finalized, and we get that first year's revenue picture into focus. The other thing is important to mention is right now we're on track. As a matter of fact, Mike just told me this morning that yesterday marked the 50% completion mark for the Sports and Event Center. So we are well on our way to that February opening. And obviously, y'all can do the math. March, April, May, June is about the last third of this fiscal year. We'll be part of this budget. So it'll take about a full fiscal year after that to really reconcile numbers. So we're going to continue to be clear with council about what that economic impact is, what it costs to operate that place. But right now, there's still a lot of moving pieces that we want to make sure we are got a handle on before we present some of that information to council. And so with that, I want to, again, thank y'all for being here. And again, one more quick shout out to Mike, Katrina, and Reno for all their hard work on this budget. And also, more to the point, is Chris and his team to actually diving into the gazentas and knots, if you will, if y'all remember your Beverly Hillbillies days, the gazentas and knots of what makes a $91 million budget. So Chris, thank you for all your work on that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ann.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Chairman.
Got a
Yes, sir.
question for you.
Sorry, I don't mean to bog us down or take us back. I appreciate the overview on the sports and events, how we're handling that. Just for my clarity specifically, are we planning to amend the budget at that point when some of those other loose ends wrap up? How is that?
No, sir.
For those 4 months.
We will not need to amend the budget. We are anticipating the expenditures necessary for the budget for this fiscal year, which would include the March, April, May, June timeframe.
Those are included.
Those are included in this budget, so it should not warrant any kind of budget amendment. And so as we go into FY '28, we'll have a clearer picture of what that revenue looks like moving forward, but it will not, this does not anticipate any necessary.
Have we factored in any revenues?
We have factored in some reasonable revenues, but that's part of the issue is we've got some reasonable revenues where we know we've got some booked events for this fiscal year. So we've included that. What's not included are some lease revenues or sponsorship revenues that are still coming in that would be substantial.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, Ann, all you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to present today. I also want to thank Red Watson, our Assistant Director, for being here. So we are both available for questions, and feel free to stop me as I go if you have questions. But thank you very much. Let's see. Just making sure. Again, this is just an overview of our presentation, our summary, which department organization, our 5-year overview, fiscal year 25-26 highlights, fiscal year 26-27 budget requests, and looking to the future. Just our department organization. You'll see here our leadership team. We manage 7 different divisions that make up the Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department. All members of the PRT leadership team have been with the department for a minimum of 11 years, with the exception of Greer Golf, which was acquired in 2020. Since the acquisition, all 3 Greer Golf employees have remained with the city of Greer, and we think that's important. This slide illustrates our organizational structure and highlights the many employees that, again, make up the entire department, not just the leadership team, but everyone included, and all the positions that make that up. Just to give you a 5-year overview, this slide shows a progression of full-time and part-time staff currently working through 2026 and requested positions for 2027. We have grown by 4 full-time employees since 2023 and are requesting 1 full-time position and 12 part-time positions for the upcoming year.
You said 12 part-time positions?
Yes, 12. We have 8 of those would be summer camp counselors that would go to the sports and events complex.
Oh, seasonal, okay.
Yes, yes.
And those part-time folks, that's the ones you just mentioned about the sports and rec center, that's because now we have more programmable space.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we'll be adding another. So we'll still continue with the one that need more and just add another because we have such a waiting list now. So this is a great opportunity to provide that service. Just to give you an overview of some of our other budgets, that Fund 09 is a special revenue fund where all of our programs such as soccer, baseball, summer camps, art shows, et cetera, are budgeted. We have a 501c3 nonprofit status that affords us the opportunity to take donations as a tax deduction. And the Greer Recreation Association Board of Trustees that is appointed by City Council advises and provides feedback to the PRT department regarding services, programming, and association policies of operation. The only fiscal year in which expenditures exceeded revenues was in fiscal year 24-25, and this variance was primarily due to accommodations tax revenues being deposited in a prior year, while the related expenses were recorded in fiscal year 24-25. In addition, the fiscal year included unusually high credit card processing fees and costs associated with relocating shade structures. When we closed Victor Park, we moved those to Tryon. We currently have a fund balance of approximately $400,000, and we propose to use around $250,000 to retrofit the lights at Stevens Ball Field in next year's budget. Fund 50 is a special revenue fund that all our facility rentals, revenue, and expenditures are budgeted. Revenue pays for staff to operate as well as minor improvements to the facilities. Our current fund balance is approximately $200,000. And then Greer Golf, which is Fund 57. The top of this slide represents the current budget at Greer Golf, what we are proposing for the upcoming year, the difference, and the fund balance at the end of fiscal year 2025. As of May 15th, we had a profit of approximately $78,000, and we hope to contribute that to the fund balance, if not more, and there should be more, we're hoping. Some of our fiscal year 25-26 highlights. This is just a year-end review number of our employees that we currently have in the department. We have 26 full-time, 40 part-time, and 14 of those are seasonal part-time. We manage 22 parks, 12 facilities, and about 416 acres. Last year, we offered 151 total programs, and 14 of those were new. We had over 93,000 participants and attendees in our programs and events. 42,000 plus rounds of golf, which is the highest we've ever had. 55,146, I'm sorry, my glasses, social media followers, 900 plus volunteers that helped us with all of our programming, and they gave a little over 18,000 hours to make all these programs happen. Some of our division highlights specifically, our athletics division. The Greer PRT Athletic Division hosted more than double the number of events in 2025 compared to 2024. Major events such as the Southeastern Collegiate Rugby Conference Sevens Championship, which is collegiate, regional baseball tournaments, the Charlotte Youth Rugby Tournament, the Christmas Sevens Youth Rugby Tournament, South Carolina Youth Sports Association soccer events, and the Tomahawk Wrestling Tournament contributed to an exceptionally busy and successful year. Internal programming continues to serve as the foundation of the division with community impact. Youth baseball and soccer, those remain the largest participation programs within the community. Smaller niche programs such as Tomahawk Youth Wrestling continue to maintain strong roster numbers and operate at full capacity. And we look forward to growing that program when we move into the Sports and Event Center. These community-focused programs typically involve 2 to 3 month commitments, with some extending across 6 to 7 months. Combined internal programming and externally hosted events brought more than 9,000 athletes to the City of Greer athletic facilities in 2025. Additionally, 2025 marked the first full year that the athletics division resumed in-house concession operations at athletic facilities. following many years of outside vendor management. And these are just some pictures of rugby and baseball. You see our wrestling, that was the tournament that we have at Greer High School and partnering with them, and cheerleaders and whatnot. In our recreation division, in 2025, we served more than 63,000 attendees and participants through 45 programs, 803 Kids Planet shelter rentals, 88 recreation center rentals, and 11 neighborhood park rentals. Notably, 13 new programs were introduced to the community and 12 additional tournaments were successfully recruited to Greer. Participant data shown in the accompanying chart highlights the Recreation Division's highest participation programs and demonstrates the continued growth in community engagement across a wide variety of offerings.
What summer camp is this?
At Needmore,
Okay.
and again, those are just some other pictures with pickleball, and we actually, in that bottom left, we have a flag burning that we provide, that an Eagle Scout actually built for us, that we have in Veterans Park. So if you have a flag that needs to be disposed of, you can take it there and they will come pick it up and dispose of it. And this just gives you a chart. It shows a comparison between athletics and recreation. Participation in the athletics division more than doubled, as I said before, from 24 to 25, driven more by participation through rentals and tournaments. And also in 2025, it should be noted, the Martin Luther King Luncheon and the Egg-tastic Easter event were moved to the events division. And that kind of resulted in a slight decline in participation numbers. But overall, we're a very successful year for both. In our cultural arts division, of our 13,000 plus attendees and participants last year, more than half that number is from our Tunes in the Park concert series, and the Greer Children's Theater performances of Cinderella, Clue, and Beetlejuice Jr. Each of the 400 plus pieces of artwork that were displayed at the Center for the Arts and in the wall gallery here at City Hall in 2025 were hung with care. That accounts for about 450 staff hours. For our second Day of the Dead Festival, we exceeded our previous year's success with more than 2,000 visitors in 2025. And we also took home 2 Southeast Festivals and Events Association awards for that event. So we're very proud of that. Our clay program continues to be probably the most successful program that we offer there. It has a variety of classes starting as early as 9 in the morning and ending as late as 8 p.m. It's amazing. It's hard to get in there. But in 2025, we had over 5,000. They used over 5,000 pounds of clay. It's just, yeah, big success for our community. You can see the wall gallery at the Center for the Arts and some of our children and plays. Mac Arnold playing at Tunes in the Park and some of our art shows. For the events division, in 2025, we facilitated more than 800 events, including weddings, private rentals, nonprofit events, business meetings, and community gatherings throughout the year. And that's here in City Park. In addition, the events division hosted more than 130 conferences, training sessions, and seminars, further establishing Greer as a destination for meetings and special events. Greer City Park welcomed more than 147,000 attendees throughout the year, with signature events continuing to grow. The International Festival drew more than 12,000 attendees, up from 10,000 in 2024, and then Freedom Blast attracted more than 20,000 attendees. The Ambassador Program continued its strong community impact in its 7th year, transporting more than 5,000 passengers in 2025. And approximately 62,000 passengers since 2019. With the addition of a new proposed ride request app that is in next year's budget, ridership is projected to increase significantly. The events division also continued strengthening partnerships with outside organizers and community groups, including the Greer's Farmers Market, which hosted 27 events and successfully transitioned its summer market schedule to Sundays. Overall, 2025 was another year of strong growth, high community engagement, and successful partnerships that continue to enhance the quality of life in Greer.
The, and the,
Yes.
I see the more than 130 conferences, and are we going to be, we're going to be using the Sports Event Center for conferences moving forward, so we anticipate that number to grow as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And you can see some pictures here. That's Freedom Blast, and then Tunes in the Park, or movies, excuse me, in the park, or tree lighting and Rail Fest. A comparison between cultural arts and the events divisions. The significant increase in cultural arts in attendance was due to Tunes in the Park. In 2025, 2 events were rained out, whereas in 2025, we were allowed to hold all the events. So you can see there's an increase there. In addition, the Children's Theater had 2 productions in 2024. We had 3 in 2025. The reason you see a drop in the events division is because the Upstate Renaissance Fair moved. It was here in 2024 and moved in, or left us to go to another location. I think they outgrew us. And they wanted to bring in horses, and we said no. So we wanted to keep our grass and beautiful park. So who knows? Maybe we can do something with them in the future. The Tourism Division oversees Discover Greer, which is the tourism brand for the city. We've seen continued growth on social media and monthly newsletter subscribers. The city approved 12 special event permits for downtown and neighborhood events, and also 2 filming permits. In collaboration with Visit Greenville SC, we organized 4 holiday activations in December to encourage visitation to downtown businesses. Activations included the Love Vault at Barista Alley, Sip, Snap, and Be Merry at Flying Fox Coffee. Next stop, True Love at the Depot, which was inside Sinzin, and the Mistletoe Gazebo. In February 2025, the Tourism Division was tasked with the honor of overseeing the year-long Greer 150 celebration, along with our partners at the Greer Heritage Museum. Tourism is also responsible for maintaining the budget for city and museum expenses throughout 2026. Staff conducted 35 meetings of planning in 2025 to prepare for all of the Greer 150 events and to establish branding, determine roles, procedures, engage partner agencies, negotiate contracts with our vendors, and much more. The Greer 150 Big Bash took place on March 28th to celebrate the official charter date and welcomed approximately 8,000 people to downtown for the celebration. We received overwhelming positive feedback from visitors, from vendors, downtown businesses, and attendees for the overall event, the Electric 80s Band and vibrant laser light show. And you can see some pictures from Access Carolina and the Big Bash.
And
And the
I would
program.
be remiss, and I failed to do this in the previous presentations, but I'm not going to let this opportunity pass, to recognize Josh Pruitt. A lot of these pictures that you see in this presentation that you've seen previously has come from Josh, our communications specialist, who's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He is behind the scenes on the website, he is out front of a lot of these events, and he's behind the camera. But I'm going to embarrass you. Thank you for your work. But as I see these pictures up here, it just kind of, it demands recognition that the level of expertise and professionalism that we intend to continue to bring to these programs is manifesting in these pictures right here. So for those of you who've not met Josh, this is Josh, because he's going to split. He's going to split right after the video. But I'm going to embarrass him, but I want to make sure he gets the recognition that's due. Sorry. Thank you.
No.
Thank you, John.
He takes good care of us. Let's see. Greer Golf. For 2025, brought more consistency to our success at Greer Golf. We're thrilled to report that we have now finished 4 consecutive fiscal years of operation in the black. While our overall profit this year is lower than last year, this is primarily due to, excuse me, I'm going to put my glasses on.
I have to say, probably.
No remarks. This is primarily due to $88,000 in purchases that were intended for the prior year. Due to timing, were recorded in the current year's budget. So despite these expenses, we're still reporting a current year profit of about $78,000 as of May 15th. Again, we fully anticipate that to increase. The purchases that included like new greens covers, irrigation pump repair, station repair, and new greens roller. We recorded 42,000 rounds this year and experienced record-setting participation in youth golf at Greer Golf. We proudly served as the home course for Greer High School, Eastside High School, Greer Middle College Charter High School, boys and girls golf programs. In addition, we hosted the Mitchell Road Christian Academy Middle School team and several sessions for First Tee of the Upstate. Greer Golf is proud to support tourism and economic activity within the Greer community. This year, we facilitated the Upstate Intercollegiate Golf Tournament hosted by North Greenville University, featuring 16 men's and women's teams, colleges across 5 southeastern states. We also hosted the Tiger River Shiver, the 48th Annual Greater Greer Open, and the Greenville County Amateur Two-Man Spring Championship. Together, these tournaments attracted golfers from 30 upstate South Carolina communities, 5 additional cities across South Carolina, and 8 cities spanning 5 southeastern states, further contributing to regional tourism and visibility for Greer Golf and the city of Greer. Again, some pictures here of Greer Golf. And then white wine and butter, of course, is in the bottom left corner. Just to show you an activity tracker, if this is a calendar year for 2025, and there were only 3 days during this calendar year in which programming was not offered, resulted in 362 days of active operations and programming in the PRT department. So we're very proud of that. Some of our accomplishments, we welcomed a full-time recreation coordinator and a cultural arts coordinator to promote current and future programming to meet our demands. 2 division supervisors earned their Certified Parks and Recreation Professionals credentials through the National Recreation and Parks Association. We celebrated Greer's sesquicentennial anniversary with the Greer 150 Big Bash on March 28th. The Public Art Butterfly Project was completed at Center for the Arts. We initiated the development of 2 capital improvement plans, one for the PRT department and one for Greer Golf. Park attendance counters were installed at the top of the promenade in Greer City Park to account for the number of visitors that visit daily. We acquired a new greens roller and covers for the putting greens, nearing the completion of Phase 1A of the South Tiger River Greenway at Country Club Road Park and Ward's Creek Trail System, Phase 1 Design and Engineering. We completed major facility improvements, including new carpet installation and painting of the ceilings in the event halls, and professionally staining the concrete floors at the Cannon Center to enhance the appearance and longevity of both venues. Completion of reupholstering the chairs at the Cannon Center, replacement of Country Club Park batting cages. We partnered with the Future Farmers of America at Greer High School to create a pollinator garden park at Greer Golf. The Greer Golf Bridge on hole 12 was replaced. We completed updating Greer City Park signage and resurfacing of the upper tennis courts at Tryon Park. And these are some pictures here of our new our bridge at Greer Golf, our butterfly project, and so many wonderful things that we are doing at of course, all over the city, but Center for the Arts, we have a new wood sculpture that's being carved as we speak, and really just wonderful artwork. Okay.
There we go.
This is the South Tiger River Trail, and a little taste of what is to come.
Was the birds dubbed in?
Just a little extra. We had to do a little extra.
That's right. That bluebird on his shoulder.
We're so excited about this trail. We didn't quite get to the end on that, but the concrete does end not too far. And then we'll have a boardwalk system that goes around a curve that's kind of at the back of the ball fields, the batting cages. It's going to be beautiful. And then we'll connect with the natural trail that's on the other side. But
How
it's
will we-
all been cleared. It's beautiful.
How are we going to connect, Ann, from one side of Country Club to the other?
We'll actually go under the bridge, and SCDOT is already approved.
There's plenty of headroom there?
There's about 7 feet
Okay.
of headroom after we have all the plans and all that.
Sure.
So, and like I said, they've already approved it, so we're excited about that. Okay. Some of our budget requests for fiscal year 26-27. We are requesting a full-time athletic coordinator for the Sports and Events Center to run our youth and adult basketball leagues, youth adult volleyball leagues, youth wrestling, indoor pickleball, and assist with summer camps. And again, this is primarily during the week, so we'll be mostly there Monday through Thursday, again, and some on Fridays, especially with summer camps. And then we will leave and for tournaments and whatnot to come in.
Ms. Cunningham, the volleyball, those will be new programs as well, am I
Yes,
thinking correctly?
they will be new.
As well as some of the adult
Yes.
athletic programming as
Yes.
well?
Adult basketball, we did offer it, Victor, but not on the scale that we can
Not
do
on the
it.
scale that we're
No.
going to be able to?
No, so this is a great opportunity for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great, thank you.
thank you. We are requesting a Recreation Division intern that will only, of course, be with us for the summer to assist with camps and other programming. Expansion of summer camp counselors, and again, that's to add a totally new camp at the Sports and Event Center. 2 additional part-time grounds maintenance staff at Greer Golf. We're just growing so much, and it's just, we have to stay on top of it. Plus, we have a lot of landscaping that we've added. We have our ground staff, they're great at that, but we need to make sure that we stay on top of what our landscaping looks like around the facility. 2 additional part-time pro shop staff at Greer Golf. We want to put a starter out there at Hole 1, who also might function as a ranger. Again, Red is the expert on that. And really, we just need the extra help in the pro shop. We're just that busy. Also, some additional budget requests. But let me just say, before reviewing the following projects, I want to clarify that the majority of parks, trails, facilities, and projects that are budgeted within the Facilities and Capital Projects Department, we worked closely with this team. Public Services, all the city departments, so it's not just, us. We're just a major, we take care of it. We manage it once it's completed. So, but there's a lot of involvement from all the departments to put all this together. Some of the additional projects is to add a deck overlooking the South Tiger River near the entrance to the trail from the parking lot. We plan to use PARD grant funds that will pay 80% of this project. We like to add an emergency access construction entrance to the South Tiger River Greenway, and that's where actually the boardwalk is that goes around the curve at the back of the batting cages. We need an emergency access for vehicles, especially for the remainder of the trail system. Once we put all that in, if someone needs emergency, we need to get to them from an emergency, then we have to have access to that.
They're going to need it.
We would like to construct Wards Creek Trail Phase 1, or begin Wards Creek Trail Park design and engineering, retrofit Stevens Ballfield lights, Center for the Arts lower level restroom renovation, Century Park additional parking design and engineering, Needmore basketball court renovation, waterline installation at BP Edwards Park and Victor Heights Neighborhood Park, and disc golf course bridge replacements.
The Century Park additional parking, is that to extend the parking lot, I guess, on the west side of of the Kids Planet, or is it the east side there?
If you're familiar with the lower entrance,
Yeah,
okay, and then there's the creek, Maple Creek.
yep,
Across the creek, there's a separate entrance. That's our overflow parking.
okay.
That comes in, there's a large green pasture, I'll say. Our disc golf course goes around it.
Yeah.
But there's a gate there, and we allow parking, when it gets full at the top and at the other parking areas, for people to come in and park. It's just, there's nothing structured. So it's quite difficult to get the maximum number of people in there. And we have, with Kids Planet, the baseball, and then we have disc golf, which they're coming rain or shine, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It really makes for a very congested park.
okay. And then which bridge, I'm very familiar with the disc golf course because
It's
I'm one
on
of
hole
those guys.
12.
Hole 12, okay,
Now, not disc golf, that's hole 12 is the bridge at the golf course. As far as the disc golf course bridge replacements, there are multiple bridges on our disc golf course. There's a
Okay.
large one overall near
large one.
17, 18, that you can take from 16 to get to 7 or
Across.
18. So I think that's on the list. I think we're just trying to do as many as we can. We have to preventive maintenance, basically. Let's see. We'd like to also, as far as construct internal storage area at the operations center, we're just running out of space to store our materials. We'd like to add Placer software as a subscription. Installation of new water fountain at BP Edwards Park. Needmore Center picnic shelter roof repair. Greer Golf kitchen floor replacement, which we have insurance funds to cover most of that. Discover Greer website redesign. It needs to be a little bit more than it is now to really draw people to the city. Fairway verticutter and a new mower at Greer Golf, a new mower lease, really, and to purchase a fairway verticutter at Greer Golf. Greentown Park renovation and synthetic turf halo installation at Country Club Road Park on our ball fields.
And on the, and we talked about this, but the fairway cutter,
Yes.
are y'all looking at anything that's autonomous that can be run after hours? Is that what,
No, sir, not in that current mower fleet. There's still a lot of technology out there. Most of it's electric. So we've kind of started, because you have to have charging stations for those units at night to kind of go to. Is that what you're talking about?
well, yeah, but I didn't know that there were electric. The ones I've seen, they're all gas, and, you just set it up and, no one has to be there. They undock from where they are and they go do their thing.
like a Roomba, but for grass?
Yeah, but it's run, it's run on GPS.
Okay.
Yeah, you set up it's all set up and it runs, and, because I've seen some, and I talked to Ann about this, there's, some courses that they cut their fairways every night.
We're aware of it and start looking into it. It's just not included in that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because that's gonna free up at least one person.
Now, are we standardizing on a type of, are we working with Travis and his group on kind of similar equipment? Like redundant equipment, I guess is the right word? I know he's got some pieces of equipment that he uses for ball fields and stuff. I don't know if they can be used I doubt it actually, on a fairway.
He has some real mowers, which are what these are for, I think. I think these are real mowers, which are fairway units. And, if one of his goes down and we need, or vice versa, we've helped each other out. So the equipment's similar, but usually with the lease restrictions that are on it, it primarily has to be used at that one location.
Okay.
Like for the golf course. But we always, if they have a need, we contribute to them, and great working relationship
Yeah.
there with both
Yeah, they
sides.
help us out.
Now, is this a true lease or is it a lease purchase?
It's budgeted as a true lease where we would turn it back in at the end of it. And if we were to go, the second option would be to buy it at the end of the lease. It would be a cheaper monthly payment, so we budgeted the highest amount, and if we we need to make that adjustment, we can. But right now, our plan is to just lease it, turn it back in, lease it, turn it back in.
Right, yeah, it's not a lease purchase item.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The Placer software, is that I think you mentioned the ride request app, is that what that is?
No, the ride request app is TripShot, and that is, we're hoping we can incorporate that. And I think we've already run that with our IT department, so I think everything's fine with this. And it's suited, I think, the best for our needs.
What is the Placer?
But no, that's one where you can, it's on your phone. You have an app where you can go to a shuttle stop and you can request a ride and they'll come pick you up.
Okay.
Yes, and then when you need to, leave town and go back to your car, they can give you a ride back. So with the one that we had before, there was an individual who had designed it, and I think he just stopped. He got tired of doing it, I
Stopped doing it.
guess.
Okay.
So there's not as many out there as you would think, but I think we found one that really will suit Greer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the Placer software then?
Placer is, that is for, so we can, when visitors come to Greer, we know where they're coming from. We can kind of track it's nothing personal. It's just a matter of how many visitors we have coming to the park.
Okay.
Where did they come from? Where are they going? Are they going to businesses downtown? Is that information that we can share with those local businesses? It also helps us with partnerships. It helps us prepare for a number of people that are coming. So it really just kind of helps us know who's coming to visit us and what markets we might need to reach out to as far as for advertising. If that's a good market for us, then we can do that, but this is going to kind of help us figure that out.
Okay.
That's got to be physically collected data.
It will be, yes, and we're already using some of that now from other resources, but this is much more effective for us to use.
Is that driven off of cell phone pings, or how's that?
Yes, it is. Again, it's not any personal information.
Great.
It's
Nothing
only at a
invasive,
very
yeah.
high level. So we're not, all we want to know is, where are they going when they come here? Where are they coming from? When they leave here, where are they going? Are they going to Spinks? Or how many people are going to the gas station? How much, that's good information for us because we can track, again, from a sponsorship standpoint, from a partnership standpoint, it's really valuable information.
Where will we use that? What facilities and locations will we use that
All of
at?
the parks.
At all of our
All
parks?
of the parks, trails,
Yeah.
golf course, it's going to tell us. Do you have anything else?
It
to add to that?
geofences the locations that you want to identify, then once somebody comes in there, it begins
Yes.
monitoring what they're doing. Helps with leakage too, like if somebody comes in here, goes to a festival, but afterwards they decide to eat at Pelham Road instead of eating in Greer, we kind of know where they're going to get other services outside of the community, so that we can help identify those services, kinds of restaurants, the kind of opportunities that we need to have in the city to keep them here spending money in town rather than spending money throughout the county.
Yeah.
It also provides good data for grants, applications, and things of that nature, so we're not just saying 50,000 people came to visit the city of Greer, and the response is, well, how do you know that? And like, well, we spent a drone up and we're counting, and we've actually got viable data that helps us seek alternative sources.
I don't mean to get in the weeds that way. How does it account for like children or something that may not have a cell phone? Just kind of best guesstimate type thing?
Yeah, it doesn't count those.
Yeah.
It's only with cell phones.
Got it.
But we will benefit from tourism, especially with the Sports and Event Center coming. It will help us to know what hotels are being used in the area. Just kind of gain insight into what attracts visitors to Greer.
How does it have such a far-reaching effect? Mike said it could track them if they left the area to go eat somewhere. How does it do that?
With your phone.
Just your phone?
How far does it ping? How far does this
It
thing
just is
ping?
whatever cell
No,
tower's in
it's-
the area, they're able to, I guess, tag that phone some way through some identifier.
Yeah.
And then once they have that identifier, they can follow that identifier.
All the way
where
to
it goes.
Alaska if you want to go.
High-tech
I wouldn't
spot.
want that intrusion on my.
It's already being.
Well,
get rid of
no,
throw your
I've got-
phone in the
I got
trash.
most of that turned off.
No, you can cut it off. You can cut it off.
It doesn't say Riley Bettis did this, it just says
Yeah,
this phone.
oh, I understand
Yeah,
a
that-
person, yeah,
Ms. Best, quite honestly, this is information that's already being tracked.
I understand.
Largely what we're doing is paying for access to it.
I got you, I got you.
Okay, are we,
Target knows when you come into Target, they know where
Oh,
you
yeah.
go later.
'Cause I leave my phone at home when I go there.
That's the only
All
one.
the businesses are doing that.
so, we are buying this information? Is that what we're doing? Or do we have someone where we, I don't,
Subscriptions.
It's a subscription.
okay, so what happens to that information when it's collected? Is it ours and proprietary?
It's ours.
Okay, what are we, our plan, okay, does it,
Again, we're using it for marketing.
I got it, but what, you have a company that is collecting the information and then sending it to us?
Right.
They'll use it too.
Yeah, now, what do they say they're doing with that information? Are they storing it?
It is web-based. It is stored, but it's only, this is for us to access.
Yeah, I got that. But we, first of all, I think we need to make sure that, one, that information they collect, as soon as it leaves them, they have zero. And
They
then,
cannot sell third party. The way it works is just like with a business that does it. I can't go and say, I'd like to have that database information about Target customers and where they went, if it was in my community. Target owns that, we'll own that data. They don't allow it to be sold to a third party or transferred to a third party.
The
to get
company
information.
doesn't allow
Even
that.
if you want to pay for it.
The company
you couldn't do
doesn't
it.
allow that.
That is correct.
so it's not regulated, it's just, so if the company is purchased by somebody, because that's a huge asset of information. And this goes to Mr. Merriman for later discussion. I think it's a council, something that council needs to talk about, because I don't think anybody in here would like us to have any kind of tracker placed on our car or our person. And I know this is just a little bit of a step less than that.
Here it is right here.
But, well, no, you can cut that off, but most people don't. But what I'm saying is, do we want to really participate in it? And if we do, you know, how long do we keep this information? And then the final thing would be, you know, because it's of value to a lot of people.
And again, it doesn't.
Do we
track any
monetize
personal
it?
information,
Yeah.
doesn't know your name, doesn't know
It's
your
already
address.
being-
I understand that.
Doesn't know who you
I-
are.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's just a step away from something else.
Well, this is the 5th year they've asked for this.
No.
And so, no, I'm just.
No, I'm just saying.
We expressed the same
if
concerns.
If we
in
are
the
going, if
beginning.
we're going to do that, I think there needs to be a complete discussion about it and what could happen. Those kind of things, not saying that, because I know Reno's accessed this information in the past, just to, like Wade Hampton Boulevard, I believe, we use that.
It's not unlike the service we use with Esri, is,
Right.
it's online, demographic
Yeah.
and retail information.
And I know that ever since data has been valuable, and not even electronic data, people would go to parking lots and write down tag numbers, and that got sold. The issue is now that the data is probably not as secure as it could be, and we just need to make sure. I think that it's a good discussion for council to have.
Okay.
I think it's valuable because Ann can use it,
Oh, I do too.
and
I do
our,
too.
and our teams
Right.
can use it.
It's first collect, the phone companies, every one of them collects this data and then brokers it. I mean, it's not like this company has got to go collect it just for us. They're just identifying, take the areas we want, they manage to obtain from the phone companies, maybe through half a dozen other brokers for all I know. That's how we get it. So it's really, there's no personal identifications on it. It's just a cell phone was there.
Yeah, they can figure out who owns that phone if they work hard enough.
And-
But I'm not,
Not based on what-
I know how it works. I'm just saying that I think it's a good discussion for council to have, not right now because this is about the budget, but just putting this thought in Mr. Merriman's mind.
Well, it's bullshit.
I got a question on the Placer software. I know you've asked for it for the past few years, and I think it's well warranted for us. I mean, smaller cities have this, and they have more capability of bringing in data and understanding how people are moving throughout their city. Just from a business standpoint, I guess first, how are we going to, or who is going to be the designated person to nerd out over this data so that we can confirm some of these, like when we have events in park, there's a suspicion that folks don't necessarily go downtown as much because, you come to the park, we got everything there. But things that businesses are asking for, to confirm some of our suspicions, who is going to be that liaison to?
Lindsay Schaefer, our tourism specialist, would be the one that receives this information. She would be requesting it based on different events, and making sure that we can, it's to help, get more people to come, not just downtown, but it could be citywide. We're already actually, we can go to Clemson, and they can actually, through Placer, get some of these reports for us, like on Freedom Blast and International Festival. And that's why it's important to us, because we want to know how many people are coming here, and it helps us reach out and get prepared. It's just more expensive. If we go with a subscription, we can do so much more with it just to help our events, our stuff, but also maybe some of the businesses downtown
Yeah, I mean,
or the city.
it'd be great to see, we get accommodations tax grant requests, and those folks have a hard time really quantifying their numbers.
Right.
I mean, we're so spread apart for all the amenities we offer. We got sports and events, Greer Golf.
Right.
For us to create a plan to make all these things kind of coalesce into a map and see if that map is working on our citizens and the folks that we're marketing to, that'd be great to have that validation to know if it's working or not, so.
Interesting and valuable even to see which of our events and festivals convert best to our downtown, other areas as well, just from a conversion standpoint.
But the caveat, which is what Jay is saying, is very valid concerns for me as well to understand, make sure folks aren't abusing that information.
And again, that's not anything we can obtain. That's not at our level. I mean, I don't know whose level that would be at, but that would
Yeah.
not be available to us in any way.
And we had the same conversation around the tag readers, the flock system. Police department has a huge policy around how it actually works. So I guess it's really more for when we get the questions, we have this capability. What are we doing with the information? What is actually limited? What is not limited? So that we can say, we don't have this information, but we do have this. So
Well, and I'd
just
be glad-
education
I'd
component.
be glad to provide you with the subscription information that we received and what we are proposing. It's got all the terms in there. If you'd like for me to make that available, then for you to review.
I would assume it's very vanilla information, but it's useful information.
Well, I know we're beating this dead horse pretty good, but if we have this subscription, it is not authorizing any new data to be collected. It is data that is already being collected.
Existing data that's already being tracked.
It's just giving us the data of when that data is collected in a certain area that we own, that we want to know people were in. No, we're not authorizing or asking for any new data to be collected, any new surveillance that's not already being done.
And also, to be clear, this is a subscription service that is not only open to municipalities. It is
Well,
open
and
to
there's-
Jay
we have-
if he wants to pay for it.
We have
Yeah.
a whole list of municipalities that are already participating.
Yeah.
I can also make that available if you just want to see it. Just to
I
see
guess
who
really
else is.
my concern is we've got to get in front of the narrative, because if someone else gets in front of us on this narrative saying that we have all this data, just, you know, we could nip that in the bud on the front end so that it's something's not put out there that's not true.
Thank you.
All right, off the pacer, I asked Riley, where's Greentown Park?
Greentown is Bearden, if you know, if you go down to Arlington, which is right there, go down towards 29. Is it Bearden? You take a left on Bearden, which is.
Mall Street. Take a left
Oh,
on
it's
Mall
Mall
Street.
Street, I'm sorry. Mall Street off of Arlington. And then it's right there, it's behind an old house. And anyway, it's at the corner of Bearden and Moss.
Okay.
Looking to the future. These are budget needs that, down the road. We would like to add a full-time tourism coordinator. Again, as we grow, we're here to provide assistance to not only our PRT department, you know, and all the things that we do, but to our merchants as well. We'd like to add shade structures for the amphitheater seating, not only here at City Park, but over at Center for the Arts. Continue with LED light conversions in the parks. Add downtown public art, murals, wayfinding signs. Update technology, AV equipment, and FF&E at the Center for the Arts. Secure additional space for artists and residents. Greens renovations at Greer Golf. Add additional parking at Century Park on Sunset Avenue. Add a dog park at Tryon Park. Continue with South Tiger River Greenway and Wards Creek Trail expansion. And the renovation of Country Club Park, Suba Road Park, and Greer City Stadium. And these are some of our challenges. You know, everybody, limited resources, location of facilities. You know, south of 85, we don't have anything. We continue to grow. Increased diversity of offerings. As people move here, we've got to be flexible. We've got to program to meet their needs. Promote tourism offerings. Again, and we think Placer is going to help us do a whole lot of that. Capital improvement plan and implementation, and annual pay increases versus golf fees. That's a big one. So we just got to get prepared for that.
Can you explain that one?
Yes, as they're city employees. When we increase salaries in the city, you know, which we're very grateful with our class and comp, but it also increases theirs. And that's a huge jump for us. Most golf courses don't do that. Not private. Again, I can't speak for government-operated golf courses. I don't know how they work for salaries. But eventually, it's going to catch up with us to where we're going to have to continue to raise fees to be able to operate because the cost of personnel gets so high. So we're just going to have to be prepared and have a plan for this. That makes sense?
Yeah.
You mentioned the south of 85 recreation opportunities. I know we've talked about that for quite a few years now. Are we any closer to making that an actuality?
The most difficult thing is finding land and being able to afford that land. You know, there's so many developers out there. They're, you know, they have all this money to go in and buy all this land. And again, there's not a whole lot that's available that we can find, that we can afford. So we keep looking. We just haven't found anything.
So
We've
that
got
is
little
an-
tiny pieces, not tiny, but we've got small parcels. But
That's an active search.
yes,
So
Yes.
if and when we find
we hope, yes, we
appropriate,
would
we're
love to
ready to
have.
move. We're ready to move on that.
I hope so.
Yeah. I know, I don't think we've ever had a chance to talk on that. I know that's not something that's unfamiliar to our administration.
Yes.
You know, the longer we wait, it's just gonna kind of compound. I know, and I know you know that for sure. So I'm glad to see that on your radar for sure. What type of facilities would you like to see south of 85?
Well, we've got, you know, Tiger River, which is Spartanburg County. You know, that's a huge ball complex. I wouldn't foresee putting a ball complex down there because why would we compete? You know, we don't need that. So I think more passive might be something, whether it was multipurpose fields or just places for families to go. And, you know, it could be trails, it could be something to enhance that area down there because they really don't have a lot. I know they've got Pelham Mill Park, but that's really not very much.
Do you see an opportunity at our property at Kist and Gin House to do anything?
I'm not as familiar with that. Is that the 3 acre parcel?
Yeah, that's that piece that we negotiate with the developer to give us that parcel, and then we're kind of dance between, does it make safety use, or does it make more sense for?
Is it possible it could be both?
Good.
It is very possible it can be both. The problem is fire.
I think we'd be
You know,
okay.
our firefighters, they maybe don't.
That much is sorry, but.
That's right. So, Mr. Hopper, that's a great question, and, but right now, it's just an asset that we are sitting on. And I think it begs the larger question. I think this council's been very, forward-thinking in that as we develop and we annex and we look at, those opportunities, density becomes a question. How do you do a density bonus? Does that mean the donation of public, private property for public purposes? Those kind of things are always going to be part and parcel of the discussion as we continue on. One of the things that Mike introduced me to not long after I started here, and I know that has been part of the discussion, is a blueway that would run all the way along on that District 6 side that could go all the way to Pelham Mill Park and down. Those are those passive areas or those passive recreation opportunities that need to be considered. So it's we have a menu of options. We just need to.
I'm really glad it's on administration's radar. It's on your radar as well. Mr. Booker beat me to the punch. It was something that I was going to ask about because, again, I know the conversations I have with my constituents in District 3 down there, we all know that's where a lot of our growth is happening. I think they deserve some sort of a facility, you know, that they can access and enjoy with their families and in that area as a result. So appreciate us leaning into that as much as we can.
Yeah, sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but
All good.
I
Team
grew
effort.
up down that way, so the things you're talking about is what I grew up having.
Absolutely.
But I do want to point out one thing, because this is a challenge that we're planning a birthday party for a 7-year-old and 9-year-old coming up. And a challenge that we had with looking at our facilities was we want to do a field day themed birthday party.
Okay.
But when you want to do a birthday party, you need to have access to either a restroom and maybe some kind of shaded area. Now, if you look at all our facilities, you know, you kind of want to have a fairly decent green space, restroom, of course, because of how people are going to go to the bathroom, and then maybe a covered area. When we're thinking about some of these things, just wanted to throw that out there because we had a time trying to figure out where to do that.
I can tell you at Century Park, we've added automated locks on our restrooms down in the ball fields. So when we're not playing ball, those fields can be used for other things as long as they're not lined off for games. So a lot of people go out there and use the ball fields for different activities. The bathrooms will now be open, you know, at certain times of the day, and we'll usually lock at night. And then same thing with Kids Planet as far as the automated locks for that as well.
And see, I didn't even know that,
Yeah,
so
well,
that's
we
good.
just did it. We
Okay.
just added those locks. So otherwise, you'd have to go all the way up to Kids Planet to go to the restroom. Now you can just stay down at the ball fields
Yeah.
if that's where you're, you know, spending time with your family or friends.
Can we throw District 4 on the same mask as District 3? There you go, do it.
Well, at District 6, it has 0 parks
We do have a nice chunk of land off of,
and no land either. That's the problem.
Well, don't we still have that land off the river?
we do.
At Hammett Bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe we do.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the map that,
It runs pretty much to, not quite all the way to, what is it, Gibb Shoals, but all those subdivisions got built down along the river. We were able to negotiate for that, you know, they donated that land to us, and that'd be a big chunk, and then some of it's owned by the water district as well, so there's opportunities. as Andy said, getting across 14 and continuing a blue way, maybe have it trailhead at a park location near the river, and I think it'd be great, but
Absolutely.
we were hoping the county would maybe start looking at us, but they concentrated on Fountain and
Don't count on
Simpsonville and all that
Yeah.
for the swamp rabbit, but
Right.
Do you work
our
with,
intent is to go all the way from Country Club to Andy's house.
I will say to keep in mind too, that one thing besides the interreach, which, you know, Mike's talking about with the Blue Way, we were also thinking about, you know, we're building a trail at South Tiger. You know, we want to put in for a future boat access area like canoes and kayaks if you want to go down the river. Well, the river takes you to Lake Appalachia. We just don't have a takeout. So we were actually looking for land on Lake Appalachia as well because, I mean, we looked at the golf course. You know, it's just if you can get to the lake, then that way you have access to do all kind of things. We couldn't really quite figure out how to take out without disturbing golf. You know, so we're still kind of working on that, trying to figure that out. But Lake Appalachia is a whole nother area that we could go into.
At one time, there was some interest in Greer taking over the big park off Suber Road there, that it's owned by the county, East Riverside. Is there still any interest in that?
That's a compliment.
Yes, the answer is yes. I had a number of discussions with Greenville County on that. The hesitation on my part was the insistence that Pelham Mill Park be included in that discussion, and the spillway alone. At this point, we're not going to. And they just made the large investment for pickleball courts out there, East Riverside. How likely the Greenville County Recreation Authority?
We'll take it.
are you guys working with, do you ever work with Matt Fleegee?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
In
on the
fact,
trails.
at Country Club Park, they built 2 natural trails up there.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yes, they're
great.
currently closed right now just because of the construction going on. But there are 2 nature trails. One is more difficult than the other, one is more accessible. But they actually built those trails for us. And, yeah, great guy.
Yeah,
You got
good organization,
Yeah,
too.
a really good organization. So I'm hoping, you know, they want to come back out once we, you know, finish with the South Tiger and maybe do some river work for us, help us, just to kind of maintain it and think of other ways that we can do things without spending a lot of money.
Okay, great.
And I remember a couple of years ago, we talked about the need was coming to change out all of our lights at outside facilities, and it appears you have a bit of an intent year by year to do that. With you changing the Stevens Field lights this year, are you going to add some to the basketball courts?
We weren't planning on it. The reason being is because you've got a neighborhood right there across the road, and not so much on the other side, but we could do that and just have it on a timer where it would go off.
Yes.
Certainly something we could look at adding, for sure.
Well, I was out there at dusk not long ago, and they were still playing, and it was getting kind of, you could tell it was getting difficult for them.
I think they play
Hit by a ball in the face.
24 hours if we let them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the greatest assets that we have, and we're
Yeah.
just so thankful to y'all for letting us do it.
That whole area is looking great.
Really
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
One question about the shuttle service that you want to do the app for. How many of those do we operate?
Well, it's interesting, and Katrina may talk about this from Fleet. They just ordered 2 new EVs for us. The ones that we had are getting a little ragged.
Yeah.
But the ones that they're actually in Fleet now, and they've been wiring them and getting them ready for the road, they are so cute. So it's going to be, yeah, there's 2. They are cute. They are. But they have like the QR code on the side, so you can scan it, and it will take you and show, you know, take you to Trip Shot, if that's what we end up going with your permission. But yeah, we're thankful to Chris and his team. They have done such a great job in these vehicles.
And just a couple of things. I saw on the city stadium, there was a need. Well, it's not a need. I mean, I hope there's budget dollars getting ready to be pushed to it somehow because we don't want one of those walls to fail. That's one item that we've got to make sure we work on. But because that facility is, I guess it's almost a historical monument, and it's approaching 100 years old, that maybe in your thinking and budgeting in the upcoming years that we need to figure out a design that kind of honors all of that. And look at all the aspects. I don't know if there's dollars available if something becomes a historical monument or not. The issue with the parks, and I don't know how far this would go or if it would work, but if you've ever been here when a group of people are protesting an annexation, especially across I-85, generally it's people who don't, their lead argument is, we've lived here so long and we've loved this land, but it's not theirs. And of course, my response is, you're not gonna like this, but if you and your residents down there pulled your money together and decided on, okay, we want to preserve this land, then you can put it in a trust. I'm wondering if it would be worth our time to try to put together something which would be a public-private effort, because you talked about small tracts of land, but you also talked about more, I guess, passive recreation. If things like that were, if parks or parcels of land were identified, and then bringing the community in and saying, if you'll invest X, we'll invest this and do this over time. We get it put into, it would have to be put into some kind of,
Conservation easement.
yes, but I don't think we can do a conservation easement,
I
can
think
we?
we can. We've actually met with people.
Yeah.
I met with, I cannot, it's been a while, so you have to forgive me. Land trust,
Yeah,
they have funds in the state. Y'all probably know about this.
Right. But I think that might be something that may
Yes.
help somewhat. The reason I say that about a land trust and us, you have to have a manager for that, and then, because I think we even talked about doing that with a golf course, but I think
Sure, with that, certainly a policy discussion the council needs to have.
Right.
Would demand, planning and development and parks, recreation, tourism coming together.
yes,
Figuring out, identifying what it is, how we want to participate, what those restrictions would be, and with whom we would partner to make that happen.
yeah. Didn't we on the golf course decide that we can't do that because we can't bind another council by, because a land trust is,
Yeah, there's a number of legal questions.
right, okay, all right.
Kind of piggybacking off what he's saying, I know Greenville County has a council has an interest in, they help out Upstate Forever and groups like that, do those concepts. Never thought we'd have that discussion in little old Greer, but I mean, it's interesting for us to figure out what are those possibilities. I got a question concerning Greer Golf, and I know we talked about this before, and that's the memberships.
Yes.
I mean, does anyone know on your staff how long those folks have been members? Because I know we've got a long wait list, and I don't even have a membership to Greer Golf if I wanted to get one, but I'm not a golfer, but anyways. Like, how do we shake that list up to get these people either is the price too cheap, or do we need to, how do we
All
shake
of the
that up?
above. I mean, if you look at comparables for membership rates, courses across the upstate, you're gonna find one, maybe two courses that's gonna be cheaper than us. We've capped it at 185 members. There were probably around, I'm gonna say 30 to 35 that were grandfathered in when the city bought the course, that we allowed them to keep their membership rate for staying with us through the transition. As far as like the ages, I would say they range from, we have junior memberships, only a handful, but memberships range from probably age 6 all the way up to 90. We have a couple members that are north of 90 years old. We chose 185 members, chose to cap it there because we want to make sure that the public has fair access to it. And the more members that we take, they can book up the tee times earlier, so it reduces the public access or non-member access to it. But, I mean,
Do we ever have openings, or they just stick on that list?
I mean,
and they're holding on to it?
not often, but we do. I mean, unfortunately, it's right now, it's usually if someone goes out on medical leave and does not come back, or every once in a while people move out of the area. But in a 12-month span, we may have 3 or 4 that'll open up, maybe.
What is our membership rate?
100 for a single resident, I believe it's $115 per month. And for a family, I think it's $135 per month for a resident. And then the non-resident's about $15 or $20 extra per month.
Well, I mean, I know we run it as an enterprise fund, and it's not realistic to raise salaries every year without a way to pay for it, unless we just want to subsidize that cost every year or figure out how that, pans out. From an internal operations standpoint of it being an enterprise fund, and we've designated it as that, I think we should maximize what we have to work with, especially if you have golfers that come and say, it's already a bargain to come play there. And they're like, I would have paid $90, $95, $100 to play at this course. But of course, I don't want to make it so unattainable for folks in my community to go there either. But I think it is worth a discussion if people are buying a membership, they probably have some type of disposable income. And I know some country clubs offer dining packages and other things like that you're required to participate in. I think exploring those avenues is worth our time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd be happy to. I know the restaurant's been a great partner, and we've had some very mild discussion about dining packages and adding options into our membership, so good timing on that.
Do we do this is just a kind of off-topic question about the Greer Golf, but do we do like a city-sponsored tournament?
Yes, sir. We host like the Greater Greer Open. We host and operate that. We have the Greenville County Two-Man Amateur Championship. They have 2 of those a year, so we usually get the spring one. We do bring in the Greenville County Golf Association just to officially score it, but that's our tournament that we run and we operate. And then there's another called the Tiger River Shiver. It's in February. Those are our 3 biggest that our staff actually really markets and runs. Everything else is basically a rental. It's going to be your churches or your corporations that are renting it. And we assist them in running the tournament, but it's basically their tournament.
Well, what's that, if it's so hard to join, then there is room to raise the rate there, because, hey, there's people. You won't know the answer to this one, but I tell people that half of my district doesn't know they live in the city, and I get fewer calls than the rest of them, significantly. But one guy is on me forever about the golf course. And he complains that the members book the tee times but don't show. So is that a problem?
It can be. It ebbs and flows. Anyone that can book it, we have that problem with members and non-members. Let me say that.
Okay.
We have more control over it with members because they're paying us every month. We can reach out to them and say, hey, what happened here? The general public can reserve a tee time, and we don't know if the name that they've entered is accurate or whatnot. But we've seen that in the past. We identify it directly with the member and let them know if it continues, then we can revoke their membership or their golf privileges or suspend them, however severe it gets. But our staff pays attention to that because that's lost revenue when nobody shows up, but it's booked.
Good to hear, so I can tell. I'll probably see him tonight, so I can tell.
I don't know how other courses handle that issue. Is there a way to request a credit card and there's some sort of, some sort of deposit or, cancellation penalty or whatever if you don't show?
We do. We have that. We have that option through our current software, Club Profit, for anyone. it gets a lot into why the person didn't show up, and there's somebody got sick, or it's an emergency situation, and it puts us really evaluating a lot of those on if it's legitimate or not. But we do, the short answer is we do have the option to do that now, charge like a deposit. And then if we have to refund it, I'm not sure what the process is there, but.
I know you probably don't know off the top of your head, but how many, if you had to guess, how many no-show week, per month, year, whatever?
I want to say if we have like an average of 100, let's say 100 tee times a day, we may have on a really busy day, maybe 8 or 10. On a slow day, or a typical day, maybe 3 or 4. We have golf, I think it's golfnow.com, and our partnership with them is they market our course, but we give them 1 tee time at 12 o'clock every day in exchange for that, so that we don't pay them a fee. I would say maybe 20% of our no-shows probably come from that golfnow.com booking that goes through them. So it's not as much as our normal people coming in. It's just kind of people that are either booking from out of state, or for whatever reason they'll book it and just not let us know.
Yeah, I know.
And you have anything else?
No, sir.
Council, one final, anybody, other questions, or?
I got one final question on the golf course. I know you said you got 2 part-time individuals coming. Now, I know in previous years, there was an issue with people bringing in their own, containers and drinks. Is that one of those part-time people going to help facilitate that? Not come, okay.
Yes, one of those is for a starter, which basically that's what they're there for, to make sure not only they're starting on time, but to make sure they're not bringing things in that should not be brought into the course. So,
Thank you, Ann.
thank you very much.
Council, let's take about a 10-minute break.